The corridor outside the cardiac ICU smells like bleach and burnt coffee. Leah cold presses her back to the cold wall and stares at the numbers on her phone. $9,000 in savings, 2 maxed out credit cards. A string of unread messages that all say the same thing: I am sorry, Dr. HSU steps out of the unit with a chart tucked to his chest. His face is tired, careful, and practiced at delivering grief in polite phrases. Ms. Cole. He says. Your father needs bypass surgery tonight. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Leah swallows hard, her voice comes out thin. How much? A little over 1 million. Dr. HSU says, as if saying it softly will make it smaller. The hospital requires proof of coverage or payment arrangements by noon. If we cannot confirm it, we cannot schedule the operating room. I do not like saying this, but time is not your friend. Noon. Leah looks at the clock on the wall and sees the hands moving like they are running from her. Her knees threaten to fold. She forces them to lock. I will figure it out, she says, because she does not know what else to say. She walks to the vending machines, but her hands shake too much to feed in the dollar bills. She tries calling her aunt in Jersey. No answer. She tries her boss at the coffee shop, then stops herself. He already let her borrow money last month. She tries her old college friend who once promised she could call any time. Straight to voicemail. The hallway hums with quiet misery. Leah sits down on the floor and pulls her hoodie over her head as if fabric can protect her from math. $1 million is not a number, it is a cliff. When she finally looks up, she sees a man standing a few feet away. He is not dressed like family, no wrinkled coat, no tear-stained face. Just a black suit that fits like it was measured in silence, and a posture that makes the hallway feel narrower. His hair is dark and neat. His expression is calm, and that calm is somehow worse than pity. He holds out a folder. A check peeks from inside like a blade. Leah Cole. He says, and he does not ask if that is her name. I am Keller Thorne. Leah blinks. The name hits like ice water. Thorne Group. The CEO who never gives interviews. The man rumored to fire executives with a single sentence. The man whose net worth shows up in articles like a myth. What are you doing here? She whispers. Keller looks toward the ICU doors as if they are a business meeting he has already reviewed. I prefer not to waste time. He says. This is a marital contract. 1 year. Leah laughs once, sharp and ugly. Are you lost? I am not. He replies. I will cover your father's surgery and all medical expenses for the year, including rehabilitation. In exchange, you will present as my wife at required family and corporate functions. You will live at my residence for the duration. At the end of the year, we separate. You receive an additional settlement. The words do not land at once. They hit in pieces. Marital, wife, live, separate. Leah's throat burns. Why me? Keller's eyes do not soften. My family is pressuring me to marry. I need a spouse with no scandal and no ties that will complicate business. He pauses, then adds the part that is supposed to make her feel small. And you need money. You are clean and you are desperate. That makes you reliable. Leah stares at the folder. The contract pages are thick, corporate, and cruel. They smell like ink and certainty. That is disgusting. She says. It is efficient. Keller answers. If you refuse, I will leave and you will continue making calls that will not be returned. Leah's hands curl into fists. Her mind flashes to her father laughing in their tiny kitchen, teaching her how to fix a leaky faucet, pretending the world is always reparable. She sees him now behind those doors, connected to machines that do not care about love. Dr. HSU walks past again, eyes flicking to Leah, then away. Another reminder. Noon. Leah takes the folder. The paper feels heavier than it should. Can I read it? She asks. You have 5 minutes. Keller says. A lawyer will finalize details after you sign. I will not renegotiate under emotion. Leah flips through. No romance. No promises. No gentle lies. Just clauses. Appearance obligations. Confidentiality. Termination terms. A section that makes her stomach drop. She will not get pregnant during the contract. She will not discuss the contract with anyone. She will not embarrass him. She wants to throw it back at him. She wants to scream that she is not for sale. Then she sees the check. Leah's vision blurs. 1 million. She whispers. More if needed. Keller says. Your father's care will not be interrupted. Her breathing becomes shallow. She hates him for making it sound simple. She hates herself for wanting the pen. If I sign. Leah says, voice shaking. You pay today. Keller produces a pen, like he knew the shape of her surrender. Immediately. He says. Leah looks toward the ICU doors. Her father is not awake to stop her. No one is. She signs. Her name looks unfamiliar, like it belongs to a stranger. Keller takes the folder back with no visible triumph. He slides the check into her hand. It is warm from his fingers, and that warmth feels like a threat. Move to my residence tomorrow. He says. My staff will pick you up at 8. Pack only essentials. Leah's jaw tightens. You act like you own me. Keller's gaze meets hers, steady and unreadable. I do not own you. He says. Not yet. Leah's stomach turns. He steps away, already leaving. One nurse passes by and glances at the check in Leah's hand. Hope flickers in the nurse's eyes, then dies into professionalism. Leah clutches the check to her chest and presses her forehead to her knees. She saved her father. She sold a year of her life. Somewhere down the hall, the clock keeps running. The Thorne residence is not a home. It is an estate that learned how to look like architecture and nothing else. Leah stands on the front steps with a duffel bag and a paper grocery bag that holds her father's knitted beanie. The air smells like winter trees and money. A butler opens the door without a smile. Mrs. Thorne. He says, and the title makes Leah flinch. I am not. Leah starts, then stops. She is on paper. Keller is not in the entryway. Of course he is not. A man like him does not greet anyone unless it is a threat. The butler leads her through halls lined with art that looks expensive and distant. He stops at a suite that could fit her old apartment twice. This will be your room. He says. Mr. Thorne's room is at the other end of the floor. Leah sets her bag down. So we do not even have to pretend at home. The butler's face remains neutral. Mr. Thorne prefers clear boundaries. He replies. If you require anything, staff is on call. Leah laughs again, quietly. Right, staff. Her phone buzzes. A message from Dr. HSU. Surgery scheduled. Payment confirmed. Leah's eyes sting. For a moment, she cannot breathe, because relief feels like guilt. Later that evening Keller arrives. She hears his footsteps before she sees him, measured, controlled. He enters the living room where Leah is perched on the edge of a sofa, hands wrapped around a mug she cannot taste. Keller's tie is loosened. His suit jacket is off. That is the closest he gets to casual. You moved in. He says. I did not have a choice. Leah replies. You always have a choice. Keller says. You simply chose your father. Leah stiffens. Do not say it like that. Keller sits across from her, not beside her. Distance as a habit. He opens a slim tablet and scrolls. Tomorrow we attend a charity gala. He says. You will wear the dress delivered to your room. You will smile when spoken to. You will not mention your father's condition unless asked directly, and if asked, you will say he is recovering and you are grateful. Understood. Leah grips her mug. I am not a prop. You are my wife. Keller says, voice flat. In public, you are a prop. Leah sets the mug down too hard. It clinks like a warning. What if I refuse? She asks. Keller looks at her, and for the first time she sees something that resembles irritation. Then I will still pay your father's expenses. He says. And you will still be held in breach. I will pursue damages. You will lose everything you signed for. Leah's chest tightens. He is not bluffing. His calm is a weapon. Fine. She says. I will go. I will smile. I will do your performance. Keller nods once. Good. Silence spreads between them. Leah can hear a grandfather clock somewhere, counting seconds like judgment. Keller stands. There are rules. He says. Do not enter my office. Do not bring visitors without approval. Do not speak to the press. If Isabella Petro contacts you, do not engage without telling me. Leah frowns. Who is Isabella Petro? A partner. Keller answers and his mouth tightens almost imperceptibly. She thinks our contract is an inconvenience. So she will be nice. Leah says bitterly. Keller's gaze sharpens. She will not be nice. She will test you. She will try to separate you from me in front of others. Leah laughs under her breath. You say that like it matters. It matters. Keller says, and the way he says it is too immediate. Then he corrects himself. It matters to the contract. Leah watches him turn toward the hall. Keller. She calls and she hates that his name tastes like a secret. He stops but does not face her. Yes. Why did you really pick me? Leah asks. You could have hired an actress. You could have bought a socialite. You could have married someone who would not hate you. Keller's pause is long enough to feel like a fracture. An actress would perform. He says. A socialite would negotiate. And someone who does not hate me would be lying. He walks away. Leah sits alone, staring at the untouched mug. She tells herself she will not get used to this place. She tells herself the year will pass. She tells herself she can leave. Outside, the estate lights glow against the dark, bright enough to keep the night away. In Leah's chest, the night settles anyway. The first gala is a blur of chandeliers and practiced laughter. Leah learns quickly that wealth has its own language. People speak in compliments that are also questions. They touch her arm like they are measuring fabric. Keller keeps a hand at the small of her back, not gentle, not cruel, possessive in the way of a signature on a document. Smile. He murmurs when a camera flashes. Leah smiles. It feels like borrowing someone else's face. When an older woman in pearls leans close, her perfume sharp, Leah hears her say, "Keller, darling, you finally settled down. She is charming. Where did you find her?" Keller's voice does not change. "I found her where I find everything I want," he says. "And I keep it." Leah's smile falters. The woman laughs like it is a joke. Leah is not sure it is. Later, Isabella Petro appears like smoke in a red dress. She is beautiful in a precise way, hair glossy, posture perfect. Her eyes skim Leah as if Leah is a new device that might malfunction. "Keller." Isabella purrs, sliding up beside him. "I did not know you were bringing a plus one." "My wife is not a plus one," Keller says. Isabella's smile stays in place. "Of course, Leah, is it? You are very brave." "Brave?" Leah repeats. "For what?" "For marrying a man who does not share," Isabella says lightly. Her gaze flickers to Keller. "Do you sleep in his wing, or does he still sleep alone?" Leah's cheeks burn. The question is a trap with velvet edges. Keller's fingers tighten at Leah's back. "Isabella," he says, quiet and dangerous. "Do not." Isabella lifts her hands, amused. "Relax, I am teasing." Leah turns her head and meets Isabella's eyes. She forces a calm she does not feel. "I am not brave," she says. "I am committed." Isabella laughs. How sweet. As the months pass, Leah becomes good at this. Good at smiling on command. Good at standing still while people decide what she is. Good at returning to the estate at midnight and walking to her separate room like a ghost. And yet, the house changes around her. The staff stops watching her like an intruder. The kitchen leaves soup simmering when her period cramps make her curl into herself. A heating pad appears on her bed with no note. When Leah asks who set it there, the maid only says, "Mr. Thorne noticed you looked pale." Keller never comments. He never admits to noticing. He speaks to her in schedules and logistics. But sometimes, late at night, Leah finds him in the library with a glass of whiskey untouched. He looks up when she enters as if he has been waiting. They do not talk much. Sometimes they simply share silence, and that is stranger than argument. One night Leah receives a call from Dr. HSU. "Your father's last follow-up looks excellent," he says. "His heart is strong. He is cleared to go back to work if he chooses." Leah sinks onto a bench in the hallway, relief crashing through her. "Thank you," she whispers. Then she covers her mouth, because gratitude is too sharp. Keller appears as if the house informs him when she cracks. "What happened?" he asks. "My dad," Leah says, voice trembling. "He is okay. He is really okay." Keller nods. He should say something clinical. Instead his eyes soften for a single beat, like a door almost opening. "Good," he says. Then, after a pause, "I am glad." Leah looks at him. The words are small. They still matter. Spring turns to summer. Summer fades. The calendar on Leah's phone shows the contract end date like a shadow she cannot step out of. As it nears, Leah begins to plan. Not because she does not care, but because she cares too much. She cannot survive loving a man who treats love like ownership. She updates her resume. She looks at apartments near her father's new rehabilitation center. She applies for a supervisor position at a coffee chain. She tells herself she is rebuilding her life. Keller notices. Of course he does. He notices everything even when he pretends he does not. "What is this?" he asks one evening, holding a printout he found on the desk. Leah sees her own name at the top. Experience, skills, future. "It is my resume," Leah says. Keller's jaw tightens. "You are leaving." "It is what we agreed," Leah replies. 1 year. Keller's eyes darken. Agreements can change. Leah forces her voice steady. "Not this one." Keller steps closer. His control is slipping, and it shows in the way his shoulders hold tension like a wound. "Do not talk about leaving," he says. Leah lifts her chin. "I have to. It is real." Keller's hands flex at his sides. For a moment she thinks he will shout. He does not. He lowers his voice instead, which is worse. "You will attend the Thorne board dinner next week," He says. You will sit beside me. Leah exhales. You cannot schedule my life forever. Keller's gaze locks on her. I can. He says. For one more year. Leah's heart stutters. One more year. He said it like a decision, not a suggestion. No. Leah says, and the word comes out louder than she expects. Keller's expression freezes. In that stillness, Leah feels the shift. A line is crossed and it will not be easy to uncross. From the doorway, a staff member pretends not to hear. The house, silent as ever, holds its breath. On the final morning of the contract, Leah wakes before dawn. She does not turn on the light. She moves through her room in the dark, folding clothes, placing them into a suitcase like she is packing up an identity. Her hands are steady, her chest is not. She leaves the beanie from her father on top, because it is the only thing that feels like home. In the kitchen she writes a note. Not romantic, not cruel, just honest. Keller, thank you for saving my father. Thank you for keeping your promise. I kept mine. I am leaving today, as agreed. Please do not make this harder than it has to be. Leah. She places the note on the counter, beside a mug she washed last night. Then she drags her suitcase to the entryway. The estate is quiet, too quiet. The front door handle is cold under her palm. She twists. It does not move. Leah tries again, harder. Nothing. A click echoes behind her. She turns and sees Keller standing in the hall, wearing a dark sweater instead of a suit. His hair is slightly undone. His eyes look like he has not slept. You are not leaving. He says. Leah's fingers tighten around the suitcase handle. Keller, unlock the door. He walks toward her with calm steps, but the calm is a mask cracking at the edges. He picks up the note from the counter, reads one line, and tears it in half, then in quarters. Then into strips that flutter to the floor like snow. Leah's breath catches. You did not even finish reading. I do not need to. Keller replies. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out the contract. The exact contract she signed in the hospital hallway. He tears it too, slowly, deliberately. Paper rips. Years of law rips. Leah watches, stunned. There. Keller says. Contract expired. Contract destroyed. You have nothing to leave with. Leah's voice shakes with anger. That is not how it works. That is not how anything works. It is how I work. Keller says. Leah takes a step back. Fear crawls up her spine, cold and fast. This is kidnapping. Keller's expression flinches, almost imperceptibly. He hates the word because it names him. I am not harming you. He says. I am keeping you. Leah shakes her head. You do not get to keep a person. Keller moves closer. His hands lift, not to hit, but to capture. He reaches for her wrist. Leah yanks away. Do not touch me. She snaps. Keller stops like she slapped him. His eyes flash, wounded and furious at once. You think this is a game? Leah says, voice rising. You think you can buy time, tear paper, and reality changes. It does not. You promised. Keller's voice drops. I promised a year. He says. And in that year, you became mine. Leah's throat closes. I never became yours. I was here because I had no choice. Keller's face hardens. You had choices. You chose to laugh at my dry jokes in the library. You chose to sit beside me when you could have stayed silent. You chose to make tea when I came home late. Leah stares at him, stunned by the list. He noticed. He always noticed. Those were normal things. Leah says. Those were human things. Keller's breathing quickens. Do you know what it does to a man like me? He says, and there is rawness under the control now. To come home and not feel like the air is poisoned. To hear someone move in the house and not assume they are there to take from me. Leah's eyes sting. She hates him. She pities him. She loves him. All at once, and it is unbearable. Keller. She says, softer. I care about you. That is why I have to leave. Because if I stay, I will disappear. I will become a thing you lock in a beautiful cage. Keller's jaw trembles. A sound escapes him that is not quite a laugh, not quite a sob. I cannot lose you. He says. I will not. Leah lifts her chin. Then you never had me. Keller turns to the wall panel and taps a code. A soft beep sounds. Leah hears locks click deeper. What did you do? She asks, voice tight. I secured the house. Keller says. No one enters without my permission. No one leaves without it. Leah's stomach drops. Isabella will hear about this. She says, grasping at anything. Keller's eyes narrow. Isabella will not hear about anything. She is not your ally. Leah forces herself to breathe. This is insane. She whispers. You are insane. Keller flinches again, but he does not retreat. He steps closer until Leah can smell his aftershave, clean and sharp. I am not insane. He says. I am terrified. Leah's voice breaks. Then be terrified without hurting me. Keller's gaze holds hers, and for the first time he looks like a man standing at the edge of a cliff he built himself. I love you. He says, the words rough, like he scraped them out of his throat. I do not know how to love without losing. Leah's tears fall. That is not love. She whispers. That is fear wearing love's face. Keller's eyes close for a second. When he opens them, the mask is back. You will stay. He says. Until I figure out how to make you stop wanting to leave. Leah looks at the locked door, at the ripped paper on the floor, at the mansion that suddenly feels like a prison. Then she looks at Keller, who looks like a man who thinks the only way to keep warmth is to burn down the world around it. Leah tightens her grip on the suitcase handle. She does not let go, not yet. Days blur into controlled routines. Keller does not chain Leah. He does not raise his voice often. He does not strike her. Instead he smooths the world until there are no exits. A driver waits when she leaves the estate. A security guard steps too close when she speaks to anyone. Her phone returns, but the signal drops whenever she tries to call outside certain numbers. Her messages to her father show as sent. He does not receive them. Leah learns the difference between violence and containment. Both steal oxygen. Keller brings gifts. A bracelet with diamonds that catch light like trapped stars. A new espresso machine, expensive enough to buy her old life twice. Fresh flowers every morning, arranged with perfect care. Leah thanks him with empty words. She wears the bracelet once, then leaves it in a drawer. The flowers wilt, then get replaced. The machine sits unused. Keller watches each small refusal like it is a wound he cannot bandage. One evening he finds Leah in the sunroom, staring at the garden through glass. She looks like she is waiting for the seasons to unlock the door. What do you want? Keller asks, voice strained. Tell me what to fix. Leah does not turn. I want my freedom. She says. Keller's hands clench. You keep saying that like it is separate from me. It is. Leah replies. Keller steps closer. If you walk out, what then? You get a small apartment. You work double shifts. You watch your father age and pretend you are not tired. You think that is freedom. Leah finally looks at him. Her eyes are flat, exhausted. Freedom is being allowed to choose hard things. She says. Not being forced into soft ones. Keller's expression twists. He looks like someone trying to swallow glass. I can give you everything. He says. I can change. I can be better. Just do not leave. Leah's voice cracks. Then start by unlocking the door. Keller shakes his head, quick, almost panicked. No, if I do that, you are gone. Leah stands. Her posture is still gentle, but there is steel under it now. You cannot heal your fear by making my world smaller. She says. You are not saving me. You are saving yourself. Keller's eyes flash. You are ungrateful. The word is a slap. Leah flinches, then straightens. I am grateful for my father being alive. She says. I am not grateful for being treated like a possession. Keller's lips part, then close. He cannot find the right weapon. So he reaches for the one he knows will land. I paid for your father's care. He says. I am still paying. He will need monitoring for years. Do you want him to lose that? Leah goes still. The air changes. Threat disguised as responsibility. Keller. Leah says softly, and her softness is sharper than anger. Do you hear yourself? Keller's face tightens. He looks ashamed for half a second, then defensive. I am trying to keep you safe. He insists. You are trying to keep me. Leah says. And you are willing to use my father to do it. Silence stretches. Keller's shoulders sag, as if the weight of his own words finally hits him. That night Leah gets a call, somehow from her father. The signal is weak and crackling. Leah. Richard says, voice hoarse. Honey, where are you? I have not seen you in days. Leah presses the phone to her ear like it is a lifeline. Dad, I am okay. She says quickly. I am working. Keller has been busy. Richard's pause is heavy. Busy does not explain silence. He says. Are you in trouble? Leah glances toward the hallway. She lowers her voice. Just tired. She lies. I will visit soon. Richard exhales. I want you to listen. He says. I know you did something for me. I know you sacrificed. But love should not be a debt. If you are staying out of guilt, stop. If you are staying out of fear, stop faster. Leah bites her lip hard enough to taste blood. Dad. She whispers. I do not know how to leave without breaking him. Richard's voice softens. You are not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to fix himself. He says. If he loves you, he will learn. If he cannot learn, that is not your fault. Leah closes her eyes. Tears leak down her cheeks. The call ends abruptly, signal cut. Leah stares at the phone. On the screen, one bar of reception disappears. She turns slowly and sees Keller in the doorway, watching her. He does not look angry. He looks like a man who heard a truth he cannot afford. What did he say? Keller asks. Leah wipes her face. He told me love is not a debt. She says. And he is right. Keller steps forward, then stops, unsure. For the first time, Leah sees him not as a villain, but as a boy shaped by betrayal, clinging to the first warmth he found. It is not a debt. Keller says, voice low. It is a choice. Leah nods. Then let me choose. Keller's eyes close. His hands tremble. He looks like he is fighting himself. When he opens his eyes, they are wet, but his voice is controlled. Tomorrow. He says. Come with me to the hospital. We will check on your father together. Leah stares. Why? Keller swallows. Because I need to see what I am using as a chain. He admits. And I need to stop. Leah's heart aches. It is not forgiveness, not yet, but it is the first crack in the cage. Outside the sunroom, the garden is still. Inside, two people stand in a room full of glass, finally seeing how fragile they are. The hospital lobby is crowded with winter coats and exhausted hope. Leah walks beside Keller, and for the first time in days no guard shadows her. No driver hovers. Keller kept his word, at least for this morning. Richard Cole sits in a chair near the cardiology wing, bundled in a scarf Leah recognizes. When he sees Leah, his face brightens with relief and anger mixed together. There you are. Richard says. He stands slowly, then pulls Leah into a hug. His hands are warm and shaky. Are you okay? Leah swallows. I am okay. She says, because saying more would split her open. Richard releases her and turns to Keller. His eyes sharpen. So you are Keller Thorne. He says. The man who paid for my heart. Keller's posture stays still. Yes. He answers. Richard studies him. You saved my life. Richard says. And I am grateful, but that gratitude does not buy my daughter's freedom. Keller's jaw tightens. I know. He says. Leah looks between them, stunned. Keller does not deflect. He does not threaten. He does not smirk. Richard leans closer, voice firm. Do you love her? He asks. Leah's stomach flips. Keller's eyes flick to Leah, then away, as if looking at her too long will undo him. Yes. Keller says. I do. Richard nods once. Then you will respect her. He says. Because love without respect is just hunger. Keller exhales, slow. I have been hungry. He admits. I thought I was protecting what I wanted. I was only proving I do not deserve it. Leah's throat tightens. She did not expect honesty, not from him. Richard's expression softens slightly, but his voice remains steady. My daughter is not your medicine. He says. She can care about you and still need to leave you. If you want her, you earn her. Keller's shoulders sag. For a moment he looks older than 30, worn by his own fear. Leah. Keller says quietly, turning to her. His hands are at his sides, open, not reaching. I am unlocking the house today. Leah's breath catches. You already did. She says, cautious. No. Keller replies. Today I unlock it for real. No guards, no codes, no tricks. Leah searches his face for deception. She finds only exhaustion and something like shame. And if I walk out? Leah asks. Keller's throat works. Then you walk out. He says. And I will not follow you in a way that hurts you. Leah's eyes burn. You have no idea how hard that is for me to hear. It should be hard. Keller says. I made it hard. I made you afraid of my love. I hate that. Richard clears his throat. I am going to give you 2 a minute. He says, and he does. He walks toward the vending machines, slow but steady, leaving space like a gift. Leah and Keller stand near a wall with a framed poster about heart health. The irony makes Leah want to laugh and cry at the same time. Keller speaks first. I do not want to lose you. He says. But I cannot keep you by force. I tried. It broke you. Leah nods. It broke me. She agrees. And it broke something in you too. Keller's eyes flicker. All my life. He says. People took. My father took my mother. My mother took his money. They took their anger out on me. I learned that if you want something, you lock it down. Leah's voice softens. And you learned wrong. Keller's mouth tightens. I did. He says. I am learning late. Leah breathes in. She thinks of the contract, of the ripped paper on the floor, of the locked doors. She thinks of the heating pad appearing with no note. She thinks of Keller sitting beside her in the library without speaking, as if silence is the only safe place he knows. I am leaving, Leah says. Keller flinches, but he does not interrupt. I need time. Leah continues. I need a life where I am not waiting for permission. I need to work, to breathe, to visit my dad when I want. Keller nods slowly. Yes. He says, voice rough. You do. Leah swallows. And I need to know that if you say you love me, you mean you will respect my no, not punish it. Keller's eyes shine. I will respect it. He says. I will respect every no you give me. Leah's chest aches. She hates that she still wants him. She hates that love does not disappear just because someone behaves badly. After I leave, Leah says. Do not buy me, do not stalk me, do not use my father as leverage again. Keller winces. I will not. He promises. If I fail, you never have to look at me again. Leah studies him. It sounds like a vow. It sounds like a last chance. It terrifies her that she wants to believe it. 2 weeks later, Leah lives in a small apartment in Queens. The walls are thin. The heating is unreliable. She has to carry groceries up 3 flights of stairs. It feels like oxygen. She works at a coffee shop again, but this time as a shift lead. Her father visits on Sundays and insists on washing the dishes, because that is how he shows love. Keller does not appear at her door. He does not send jewelry. He does not demand updates. Instead, a letter arrives in the mail. No gifts, no threats, just paper. Leah, I started therapy. I hated it. I am still going. I am learning that fear is not a reason to control. I am learning that love does not guarantee possession. If you ever want to talk, I will be at the same cafe near your shop every Thursday at 6. If you never come, I will understand. Leah reads the letter 3 times. Her hands shake, not from fear, from the strange pain of hope. On the first Thursday she does not go. On the second she walks past the cafe and keeps walking. On the third she pauses outside the window and sees him inside, alone, hands wrapped around a plain cup, shoulders tense like he expects nothing. Leah steps in. Keller looks up so fast he nearly knocks his cup over. For a moment he looks like he cannot breathe, then he forces himself to stay still. Leah. He says, voice low. Hi. Leah stands by the table. She does not sit. Not yet. I am not here to restart a contract. She says. Keller swallows. I know. I am here. Leah says, voice trembling. Because I want to see if you can love without a cage. Keller's eyes fill. He nods once, slow and careful. I can try. He says. And if trying is not enough, I will keep trying farther away. Leah finally sits. It is a small act. It is also everything. Outside, New York keeps moving, indifferent and loud. Inside, 2 people begin again, not as a deal, not as a prison, but as a choice made one breath at a time.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.